Here's the truth. Throwing $50,000 to $100,000 a month on advertising for your Facebook ads or Google ads is very easy. But what's hard is actually having control of your return of ad spend, your lead quality, and the volume. Because perhaps right now you're relying on a marketing manager that you have in-house or a third-party lead provider like a pay-per-lead service, and you really can't control these things and you can't really convert your ads the right way. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how you're going to do that, because I have actually consulted with multi-million-dollar real estate investing companies that actually have spent over $150,000 to $200,000 per month on advertising, and I have learned all these tricks by applying it to all our clients that we've done over the last 5 years, that you can do that right now as well. Go tell your marketing manager or do it yourself, or you can hire a marketing agency that actually can do it yourself. After generating over 3,000 motivated sellers per month, I have learned a thing or two about getting the best ROI for your Facebook or Google Ads PPC. So instead of getting frustrated about the results that you're getting because you keep spending thousands of dollars per month and you don't get to actually see the return that you want, I'm gonna cover in this video some advanced strategies that you can actually do so you can stop wasting advertising money without knowing where it's going and how to do it properly. So by the end of this video, you'll know how to generate better leads, more leads, and have a predictable return of advertising spend. So a few years ago, I visited a company called Property Force that used to make $3.8 to $4 million per month. And these people were advertising like crazy. They used to spend over $120,000 to $180,000 per month on Facebook and Google separately. So imagine spending $120,000, $150,000, $180,000 on Google and Facebook separately alone. And I've learned a few tricks from them. I saw how their operations actually work. They used to have like over 60 acquisition managers, and they used to run a lot of advertising in Florida, Georgia, and other different states. And I sat down with their marketing manager and I learned a few of the things that they were doing right and a few of the things that they were doing wrong. And I'm gonna share with you those things. So the first thing is, people don't set conversion goals into their campaign. Whether they're running a Facebook or a Google ad, a lot of people forget that a generated lead almost always is a raw lead. It doesn't matter how many questions you actually ask, it's always gonna be the top of the funnel lead. But if you want to actually optimize or target specific outcomes, like for example, a lead that can actually be closed, then you actually have to create a specific conversion events in your Facebook or Google ads. What does this mean? So whenever you are in your business manager, make sure that you actually generate a few conversion events for your pixel and your algorithm to actually work towards that. So as an example, you know that a marketed qualified lead could be an appointment set. So if a lead is booking an appointment in your closer's calendar, that can actually be marked as a conversion event called appointment set. And you can also send that data back into the algorithm so it keeps optimizing towards that event, which means that now out of 10 leads, let's just say 7 actually book an appointment. Now we have 70% that we are actually optimizing to so that we get more marketed qualified leads. And maybe the only reason why these people actually booked an appointment is because after answering all the questions in your quiz funnel, it actually sends them a calendar booking link so they can actually book an appointment with your closers or with your lead managers. And in the event that this appointment is canceled or doesn't go through, then the event doesn't go back into the algorithm. So the algorithm doesn't actually optimize for the wrong data. We only want to optimize for the right data. So an appointment set is a marketed qualified lead. And you can actually create a chart where you can actually mark specific appointments that you're actually getting as a marketed qualified lead based on 4 different levels. It could be one level where it's absolutely a no-go. So it's a canceled appointment. So the actual conversion doesn't go to, and you remove that from the algorithm. Or level 2, which is questionable, you maybe want a lead manager to actually have a conversation. And then if the conversation goes well, and they allow the appointment to happen, or they allow that lead to go through with the closer, then that's potentially someone that we want to actually optimize for. It's another level of motivation. It could be another level of customer awareness. You got to have a conversation with the seller to find that out. But sometimes, based on the answers that these sellers actually give, you may have level 3, level 4 on the ranking that you can actually give for a market qualified lead. So imagine that you actually are asking questions about urgency, motivation, time frame, what's the lowest amount of cash offer, condition of the properties, and just put a ranking 1-4 on all these questions, and then do an average on all these questions to find out which one is the one that you're going to allow to be an appointment. And that's a market qualified lead. Another conversion event, obviously, it can be a contract. So once you have that seller under contract, and we know that sometimes contracts cannot happen super fast because you have to do negotiation or you have to follow up with the lead. But as soon as that contract is actually locked in, well, you're going to go into your CRM and you're going to add a tag, whether that's manually or automatically, and it's going to go back to the algorithm and it's going to send that data back into the algorithm so that you can keep optimizing towards those people. So only those people that look like those that you just recently locked under contract are the ones that we're going to try to actually target. And your algorithm is going to get better. The other one is going to be obviously closing deals. But since real estate is a long sales cycle of about 45 to 92 days, well, that means that if Google attributes to the last 30 days or more, then we're going to be able to feed that information, that data back into Google. But sometimes that cannot be done with Facebook because Facebook attributes to the last 7 days. So with Facebook, you need to be able to attribute to events like appointment, contracts, and there's one simple one that you can actually do, which is going to be having an AI chatbot to have a quick text conversation with the lead as soon as they're generated and asking them qualifying questions. So for example, how soon are you looking to sell? What's the condition of the property? And what's the level of motivation? And you can actually have your CRM to do the calculation and to tag this lead after finding out that it's a qualified lead to send that information back into the algorithm. Now, the big question is like, okay, Esteban, you're asking to send information back into the algorithm. How do I do that? There's different CRMs that allow based on tags, triggers, or custom fields, whatever that is updated during the entire conversion process to send that information back. So you can do that with Go High Level, for example. It sends a webhook to Zapier and then it gets back to the pixel that is in a specific conversion event. You can also do this with make.com, but a tool that I actually like using is going to be Hyros.com. So Hyros, which is a company owned by Alex Becker, allows you to actually go and deliver the right data back into Google or back into Facebook to optimize for a specific event, just like I mentioned. And it's going to actually capture that information specifically and will know the user journey, specifically where this lead actually came from, which ad is the one that generated this lead, that turned into an appointment, that turned into a contract, that turned into a deal, that turned into a market qualified lead. And it's going to deliver information based on API. As you may know, Facebook lost the ability for many iPhone users to use the cookies to track these individuals. But Hyros actually allows businesses to track all these different leads based on API. And the same thing for Google. You just send back the information because you're tracking everything based on API. And if you have set up your UTM parameters correctly, which is essentially knowing where each lead is coming from, which campaign, which ad set or ad group, and which specific ad is coming from, then you'll be able to attribute correctly. Now, you can do this with a Google Sheet as well, and then updating that Google Sheet, and then Zapier does the job and then sends it back into the pixel or into the conversion events that you need for Google or Facebook, and it's going to have the right data every single time. But like I said, it's better for you to use technology that is already working, it's proven to work, like Go High Level CRM, sending back based on tags or based on custom fields that you update either manually or automatically, and you create those workflows to do that, or Hyros, which has its own dashboard, and you can actually set it up. And I believe it's just about $200 a month, and depending on how much money you're actually generating in revenue, you will have to be paying from $200 all the way to $2,000 a month or so on. Well, if you're a big player and you really want to track your KPIs and know exactly your return of investment, this is very worth it. Another big conversion event that you can do is offers. So every time that you actually send an offer to a seller, this can be qualified as a sales qualified lead. or SQL, which will allow you to have another conversion event. So imagine this scenario. The seller comes in and actually fills out a quiz funnel. The quiz funnel allows the seller to actually book an appointment in your closer's calendar. Okay, so that happens, and now we have appointment in the closer's calendar, Google Calendar, whatever that is. If the seller has answered all the questions correctly, that goes from, let's say, 1-4 and it's a 3, well, this automatically, it's going to go back into the pixel or the algorithm and back into this conversion event, which is an appointment set, and you can actually modify it manually based on checking on that appointment information. So if the seller seems like it's not someone that is a marketing qualified lead, when you see the seller information and after you have a conversation with the seller, well, you can always remove that tag and actually delete that conversion event for that specific lead, so you actually have true data. And now let's say that seller, after you have a good conversation with the seller, you do the discovery process, then you pitch, and you actually give an offer because you know that this seller is worth it and it's a closable lead. Doesn't matter if it is a cash offer or an innovations offer. Well, after you send an offer, you're going to move that lead from appointment to an offer. And that is going to trigger another conversion event that is going to go back to your Google ads and your Facebook ads, and is going to attribute to optimizing to that specific event. So we're always wanting to find people that we can do an offer to. So in the future, if you're giving out of 10 leads, you're given 4 or 5 offers, as you optimize in the future for only people that are going to be offerable, or you can actually give an offer to, which are closable people. Well, the more offers you give, the more chances that you have to get a contract, right? And the more leads that are offerable, then the more contracts you're also going to have. So you optimize towards that, and instead of having 4 or 5 out of 10 offers, now in the future, you're going to have 6 out of 10. Now it's one positive one, or let's just say 7. It's one positive lead, one extra lead that now you have earned just by doing these optimizations back into the algorithm. And you can actually do very ninja stuff by creating daily marketing campaigns that are daily or every other day. And as soon as a seller opens that email, there's going to be retargeting campaigns that are going to go on Facebook, on YouTube, on Google Ads, that is going to make people that are on the fence to actually get back into your pipeline. So you can retarget it with specific ads that could say things, hey, it seems like you need to sell your house. Here's a few homeowners that we have helped. And you can do a testimonial reel or case study reel that will retarget people back into the pipeline. So you can do this with people that click on the email or open your email, or people that actually respond to your text messages, because you can always tag when people respond to specific remarketing or reoffer campaigns, so that we can actually feedback the algorithm on a specific conversion events or for specific audiences, in this case, a retargeting audience, and we can get these people back into our pipeline, elevating the trust and potentially removing any objections that they had after having the conversation with you. Or let's just say they're on the fence and they have some concerns. You're going to be able to eliminate those concerns by having a specific advertising that eliminates any concern, elevates trust, and actually improves your campaign over and over. So this could be just custom email audiences or audiences that are created by email or text messages. Another big one is if you have a missed call from, let's say, a lead that came from Google Ads, and that call was, later at night and you couldn't do it. Well, that missed call, especially when you have the email, it can feed back that algorithm, and then you can have ads that say, hey, we saw that we reached out. Here is some testimonial of a seller that we recently helped, or in this case, a homeowner that we recently helped buy their house for cash because they had these issues or problems in their life. So here's why we're the best cash buyers in this city. And having said this, you can actually create lookalike audiences based on deal data. So the more deals that you actually have and the more data that you get back into these conversion events, into the algorithm essentially, the better that you can actually target people that look exactly like that. So if you've been running advertising for your real estate wholesaling business, a flipping business, and you spend thousands of dollars, these are all the few things that you're going to actually do right now to improve your campaign. Another big thing is if you're not doing split testing in your landing page. For example, a perfect landing page should always have some sort of video that eliminates any objection that the seller would have. And if it's not in the video, would have FAQs that also helps eliminate any objections or concerns that sellers would have with doing this entire process, or before they ever come up in the conversation, like whenever you call them in the phone. Make sure that you do a testimonial stack or an overload testimonial funnel where you have a lot of different testimonials that homeowners, that you have a lot of different testimonials of homeowners that you actually have helped in the past, case studies. This could be interviews, or it could be just selfie testimonials that you actually have asked your sellers. Whenever you're closing the deal, you're going through all this process, always ask your sellers for these video testimonials or a case study where it's an interview. And you can always do that in Zoom, in person. You also can, on top of that, add for a Trustpilot review or a Google review. I really don't like BBB, but BBB actually works for those type of companies. But I would totally do Google reviews, Trustpilot reviews, and even BBB, and an overload of these testimonial videos that you can actually be putting into your thank you pages, into a preparation call that you actually can do with the sellers, and so on. If you're not doing a preparation call or like a prep call guide or prep call video that is basically a high-level credibility package before the seller actually talks with anyone in your team. So let's just say the thank you page, right? A thank you page could also have a credibility package, a video sales letter, or just some video that explains the seller what we do for them, how we do it, who we are, the proof, the credibility, what is it that they got to lose, and just going and eliminating different objections that could potentially happen. And if you do that and you know that this seller has watched this video for some amount of time, that also could be a conversion event. So let's just say they do watch 50 or 60% of that video. This is someone that actually have spent the time to watch this type of videos and go through the entire process. That also could be another conversion event. And you'll be able to know whether that seller is a more qualified seller or someone that has more intention to actually be invested into the entire process. So the difference between a good investor and a great investor is control over their marketing and knowing exactly what is going on, the return of investment, and knowing how to generate highly qualified, motivated sellers, converting those motivated sellers at a higher conversion ratio and getting the right amount of volume and not paying way too much for this lead. So if you track everything correctly, every conversion event, optimizing all those conversion events based on what I just told you, appointments, offers, contracts, deals, opens on emails, AI chatbots qualifying these sellers, then you're going to be able to leverage technology properly so it actually helps you optimize and get better quality of leads and eventually more volume, because this is what's going to help you. Because this is what's going to help you actually scale your advertising spend without sacrificing the ROI of it. So I hope that you like this video. We actually help real estate investors and wholesalers do this exact thing with our company called Hustle Media, that we get sellers for flippers, wholesalers, real estate investors, creative financing investors. So if you like this video, just hit the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. If you want an entire guide on exactly what I just discussed in this video, also let me know in the comments below. If you want more information like this, write me a comment, send me a DM on Instagram at @estenick for more things that you want to learn. And if you want to work together, well, there's a link in the video description below, so you can actually book a call with our team. See you in the next side.